Hey guys, Joe here. I'm looking at my arm. I have a watch on. Today is Thursday the 12th. So I'm on my way to pick up my son from school because my one worker is out for today. And so in this video, I want to talk about if you are in some like serious bad financial situations because you're just not booking enough jobs, right? And so the reason why I'm talking about this is because there is several contractors that I talk to on a regular basis that are really struggling, one of which is at this point they owe us quite a bit of money and it doesn't look good for them at all. So there's basically two things that we can do. Number one is cut the amount of spending and cut costs and things like that. And the other thing that you can do is increase the amount of money coming in, right? So like anything else. So number one, let's talk about the cutting costs as much as you can. So number one is like, just cut out the dumb shit that you're spending money on. Sounds obvious, but look at, number one, look at like what you're spending, right? And if you don't know exactly, oh my God, this traffic. If you don't know exactly where your money's going, you got to start tracking it. And there was a thing Alex Ramosi was talking about the other day, or one of the videos or whatever. And what they talk about is that like if someone's trying to lose weight, if you just get them to get on the scale every single day, they're going to end up losing weight because they're more aware of like the situation, right? Or they might be, not only that, but like if you're weighing yourself every day, when they go to eat something that they probably really shouldn't, that's going to be in the back of their head that I got to get on the scale again tomorrow, or I just got off the scale, whatever it happened to be. So that's number one. So see where your money's going. So if you're still going out to eat, whatever, or whatever, you just got to cut it out. If you are, depending on where the food store is. So my wife orders all the time from Whole Foods because it's convenient, because she has a, this membership and the stuff gets delivered, right? The shit's so freaking expensive, like it's crazy from Whole Foods. However, there's ShopRite that's right up the street, and if they would just order from there, it would be a hell of a lot cheaper. Now, for her, she probably doesn't realize that there's, a better option, because with Whole Foods, we just know what to expect. Whereas if we got like ShopRite or something like that, they might charge like $10 for delivery, but the food is going to be drastically less expensive. So when you combine both, between the cost for food and the shipping, like it ends up being cheaper. Plus there's other options where you can go and like just order the food and pick it up, or like we could actually just go and food shop, but honestly, I don't want to do that whatsoever. So that's what you can do. The other thing to look at the cost involved. So there might be like different things that you're getting hit up on like every single month. So for me, there's like, if I think a certain software or I don't know, marketing agency or whatever it happens to be, and I think that it's going to help my business in some sort of way, I will get it without even thinking. Well, what happened a few months ago is my identity had been taken, right? So what ended up, are these people crazy? So, are you turning? Like, what is going on, man? So anyway, what ended up happening is I had to cancel the cards and I had to do all this other kind of stuff. So I started getting these emails coming through of, hey, we need a different card payment, or, whatever it happened to be. Long story short, I feel like it was at least $500, but it might be like $700 to $800 a month. Crazy, I know, that I was spending on shit that I wasn't even using, right? And so look at that. Your number's probably going to be nowhere near that high, but again, because of like different softwares and stuff like that, like they're so like it just adds up over time, and I just didn't realize it because there'd be like free trials or whatever. So look at that. So the recurring charges, I know there is some kind of apps that will track that kind of stuff for you, and then basically it'll ask you if you still want it, you click no, and then it just cancels it. I think that's how it works. I don't personally use it, but those are like the two main things that you can do for cutting your costs, okay? So the next thing is obviously like, how do you get more money coming in, okay? So number one is realize that just because you're really slow doesn't mean everyone else is, okay? So this could be because you are just newer, it could be because you don't advertise, could be whatever, right? You're in the wrong area. So number one, find the people that are busy or reach out to different business owners and things like that and start seeing if you can sub for them. Because if you have companies that are already having a backlog of work and things like that, the easiest method a lot of times is just go sub for them. Now, obviously you're going to make a lot less money than you would if you were installing on your own. That being said, some money is better than no money. Plus, you're not going out for the estimates, you're not doing all this other kind of stuff. You're typically just showing up and you're installing, okay? So that's one thing you can do. The other thing you can do is start offering more services. So if you are like for a fence company and you know that people are broken, things like that, the one thing you could start offering is some complementary services to your fence installation. So maybe it's fence staining, things like that. Because especially now with people that are really struggling financially, maybe they want that fence, but because the other one looks like crap, but maybe if after it got stained, it would actually look nice. And with that, like they wouldn't need a new fence. Well, and plus with it being a lot cheaper, it's kind of like the best of both worlds. Like they're getting basically something that looks nicer as if it's a new fence, and they're saving a shit ton of money. And the nice part with this is, number one, you're getting that job. Number two is when the time comes to have a new fence installed, you're much more likely to get that job because you did this job for them, right? Because they want to, like I know for myself and most people, we just want to use people that we already know, like, and trust. The problem is when we go to hire someone else that we don't know, it's because we don't know of someone else to take care of that problem for us. So that's what I would personally do. These people are driving like insane today. Those are the main ones. So Mike, when you're watching this, like this part needs to be edited out. Those are the parts I thought of. I'm trying to think of anything else before I hang up this video, so that way I can do that. Same thing, you'll have to cut this out. I have to text my son. There it is. Hey, I'm picking you up today because Leon doesn't feel good, period. I should be there about 2:25. So we talked about cutting costs, getting more work. Was there anything else that we can add into this? All right, Mike, so I'm gonna get started again. So you have to edit the parts before this, or take them out. Anyway, so those are the two main things that you can do as far as, decreasing your costs, and then also, getting more money to come in. Actually, no, Mike, wait on that. So, all right, so Mike, this is where I guess I'm going to be starting. All right, so we talked about subbing or becoming a sub for other companies. We talked about offering different types of services. Those are the two things that you can do immediately. And also the other thing I forgot to mention is so the next part besides those is start basically reaching out to additional customers to start getting more work, okay? So there's two types of ways that you can do this. Number one is you already have a customer list, okay, as far as with the people that you already done work for at this point, and this could be people also that you've done quotes for, but then you haven't converted them into jobs, okay? So at this point, hopefully you have with these people, whether you did the work for them or not, hopefully you have their phone number and ideally email as well. So for the people that you haven't done work for yet, but you had sent the quote, this is where you could easily either call, text them, email them, and say whatever, hey, we're running a Christmas special, whatever happens to be, if you want to move forward now. So that's one thing you can do. You can also, so the other thing is going to your past customers, okay? The people you already did work for. Is there something that hopefully, again, you have their email and your text message? Because if you have that, you can take this whole list and literally just text or email everyone all at once. if you have like an email program, or you can do it manually. One way or another, whatever is going to work fine. So with the previous customers, number one is you can see if there's anyone else that needs your services that they know of, right? So it's like if you already did a fence for Sally, it's like, hey Sally, did you know of anyone else that's looking, you know, schedule's open, or do you know of anyone else that's looking for a fence installation? I'd be happy to give you whatever for, you know, any customers that you send our way, something like that. Also to past customers, is there a complimentary service that you can offer for them? Similar to like what we were already talking about, but when you do it this way, you can do it on a mass scale. So if you already have a list of 100 customers, again, what is different things that you can offer, okay? So quick text message or email, or if you want to, a phone call as well. So those are the two main. Now, the next thing you do, similar to trying to be subs for another company, is reach out to complementary companies in your area and find out if there's some kind of way that you can team up. So if you're a fence company and you know of roofers are perfect. So if, especially now, like today's windy, stuff like that, and tree companies as well. Well, for roofers and tree companies, a lot of times, especially the tree companies, like the tree's falling on the fence, so they have to remove the tree, and a lot of times the homeowner's like, hey, do you know of a fence company? So get in front of those people, right? So start talking to the fence companies, or I'm sorry, to the tree companies, and you can do the same thing for the roofing and other services as well. Basically, if a contractor or a company is going out to that person's house, that is a great person to talk to. The reason for it is because if they have to go out to the house to do the work, to do the quotes and things like that, if they see that this person needs a fence, they can offer that to them, right? And if you show them how to easily price the jobs and things like that, they're much more likely to offer that type of service, right? The other thing that you can do as well, that is a way to bring in money, because we actually just talked to a contractor today about this, is that this contractor he works with other he subs for some fence companies, but he also works with tree companies and landscapers and all this other kind of stuff. So he's actually sending us, or bringing over a large company that does a decent amount of fence. So they do like 2 to 3 fence jobs a week. So it's a pretty big company, right? So what we're personally doing is doing a 1099 structure with them. So they're basically going to be almost like just an outside sales rep, more or less, and they are actually going to be getting commission on all the jobs that this contractor buys, right? Well, the way this is structured, and obviously this is something you got to talk to the supplier about if you end up going this route, but if you're generating business for them, if you work out some kind of agreement that you get X% of the revenue and set yourself up as you have your business anyway, they would just treat you as a 1099. And then every week, whatever payments that were made to them the previous week, typically that's how I pay anyway, but whatever that percentage happens to be. And don't feel let down that it's like, oh, it's only 3%, 4%, like whatever happens to be. For us, we do we're doing 3% with this. And so what ends up happening is, if this company ends up doing just say $500,000 a year in revenue, in material sales, which is about probably what they would end up doing, is that alone would be like $15,000 in payment. Now, this isn't like you're not getting $15,000 up front, but it's just another way to get more more money coming in. So anyway, that's the main ways. If you have any questions, please let me know. Hopefully this helps. Hasta mañana.